It's not lose sight of that, I think.
I'm sure other colleagues want to come in on that point about Framework 7 and Horizon 2020. Deputy Chair, Mr. McKay.
Thanks, Chair. I mean, just on that point, one of the respondents did raise the issue of increasing funding drawdown from Europe, and what they did say was, Invest in I is recognised or very supportive.
Yeah.
But it's completely different from Enterprise Ireland, who are much more supportive and much more advanced in terms of that area of work.
Yeah.
Is that something we could look at? Is there cooperation with Enterprise Ireland in terms of this? Are there opportunities there to try and up our game in that?
Yeah, I think that the challenge here is that in the ROI, it's a different economy. It is more academic institutions. It is sort of more value-added companies, given its the policy lever that it's had for many years with corporation tax. So whilst they themselves, and we've had discussions with them, would recognise the challenges that they even have in maximising drawdown, but compared to where we are at the moment is, I think, slightly unfair because of the nature of our business base here. The fact that we are, traditionally with academia, we're talking about 2 higher education establishments in the north. So it's we certainly, and we continue through Invest, and indeed at a policy level, not only working with Enterprise Ireland and others. We've had meetings with BIS, with the Technology Strategy Board in GB as well, because this is a systemic problem across all countries and regions.
Just to come back to the point you're making there, Graham, we know of examples. I think it's Bombardier or Shorts have linkages with University of Galway. So there's universities across Ireland which are involved within R&D, etc. here already. So you need to look where that's about, even across the water as well.
And on innovation vouchers, which we consider to be a very effective mechanism on the innovation side, that's there is scope to have vouchers and access providers who can work and collaborate through innovation vouchers on north-south. So that we recognise that. I suppose my only point I'm making is, in terms of the Chair's point of how ambitious can we be going forward, is just to recognise, you might consider this to be a defensive point, but the NI business base hasn't changed materially. It's still micro-based, still considers, many companies in many sectors consider R&D to be really something that they haven't embraced before, and it's overcoming that challenge.
But coming back to some of the respondents that we've had already to this, they've actually criticised not only the culture that's out there within the business community, but also in terms of across the public sector. The R&D adverseness there is there, and they've raised the issue of the PAC, etc. So how is the department looking and raising that issue on a cross-departmental basis to try and address that? And also in terms of, certainly, I recognise what you said about bringing in Mike Kitson from the University of Cambridge, but historically government haven't used universities, the local universities, as much as they could have done.
Yes.
And they've tended to steer more towards consultants in the universities.
Yeah.
Can we change that? Are we changing that?
Yeah. Well, on your second point, we certainly see on the academic front, Mike Kitson from University of Cambridge and others have been, and we've on our research programme, have been more academic focused and consultancy based, by dint of the fact that the output that we're getting is more value added and has been. But in terms of your previous point about what we're doing, the department set up a steering group to review the support structures that we have. I mentioned this in my opening remarks on maximising drawdown. It was cross-departmental, and also including members of the CBI and the Science Park, with a view to saying, well, clearly things aren't working as well as they should be, and what do we need to improve? And one of the key things that came out in that review that Kieran led is the need to have someone to coordinate across businesses and academia the potential that there is for companies and academia in framework programmes, so that we will have a person appointed shortly to fulfil that role. We also, as part of that exercise, seen the emphasis from the Commission in the context of Horizon 2020 and lesser extent on Framework 7 on smart specialisation. We have someone now appointed within the department specifically on smart specialisation from earlier this year to develop that strategy that will be part and parcel of that programme of saying, well, these are the key areas that we're going to prioritise, and this is how we will then ensure that there is greater linkages between the different people to support and maximise drawdown. Any other points, Karen, in terms of?
Just on the comparative analysis, I think the Republic of Ireland is a member state, and therefore that's why it's regional contact points in the network group that you set there through Enterprise Ireland have direct access into Brussels for a region, and the UK has a similar network support of regional of contact points. So we're not comparing like with like in one sense, but the point is, in really moving forward, and we've accepted is that we can improve the coordination across government, and as Graham has outlined, and we now have, for example, DHS, and we have people in DOE, and we've DARD taking a more proactive approach, and indeed it dealt with the whole concept of framework and recognition, because there are constituents and stakeholders of theirs who will be key participants or could be key potential participants in the framework programme. So that's starting to move forward, and the committee has seen the recommendations that emerged out of that framework group, and that highlights that. And just to reiterate what Graham said in terms of the commitment DETI has given, putting the resources in place now to bring that all together, to identify where additional resources should be in terms of thematic leads or advice, and how we bring the universities and business closer together in a framework, because universities are the key driver in this.
Chairman, just one quick point.
Yes,
the issue we raised before the meeting. In terms of the papers coming to the committee, this isn't the first time we've had late papers. I think all members have expressed their disappointment at that, and certainly accept your apology. What was the reason for them being there?
We have had a really busy period. Economic strategy, corporation tax, regional aid has just been, and again, all I can say is reiterate. One, my personal apology in getting the evidence to you at such a late notice, and two, as the Chair has indicated, to take that back. You're saying it's a wider point, and I certainly will reflect that back to
because the concern I would have had was, DETI as a department and you civil servants.
Yep.
You're also dealing with businesses, FDI opportunities. So, if this is happening not only to us but to other parties that you're dealing with, that is of serious concern. But the fact of the matter is, this is happening across departments, it's happened across the Assembly, and it's simply not good enough at this level of governance.
Okay.